The number one mistake that you guys often make is that you guys go on to like this LTA data mall and then you start plucking figures about like, oh, this bus stop has how many people alighting, this bus stop has how many people boarding, and it's like you compare all these points on like it kind of works like this kind of step thingy. So it's like between this bus stop and this bus stop, you compare how many people take the bus between these sectors. So you all would see these I mean this value. And then from this bus stop, like let's say this bus stop to this bus stop, you guys often like do this to work out like exactly how many people commute between two particular stops. And I'm gonna say one thing. Yes, as much as there is like hard evidence about things like this is like the really, really nerdy way of like doing stuff. And doing this might make you look really, really out of touch. As in like you go on, you just mine some data, you just go on to do all these in real life observations just one or two times, and then you already start forming all these conclusions. It's like this doesn't give you like a good enough picture of like the bus's like actual demand, like where the passengers really take the bus from. You have to like ride the bus service for a couple of months or even a couple of years to be able to like identify like where people take the bus to, or like their demographics, like what people are the bus services actually serving in the first place. So again, if you do this, it really gives people the impression that like you don't even go out to like do surveys yourself for months, and then you're just like sitting back in front of your laptop just looking at data and then just using it to justify how to amend bus routes. Again, it just gives you like the kind of like out of touch feeling. Because the truth is, when you look at bus routes, you're looking at macro view and like micro view. Okay, and to put it simply, the micro view refers to like identifying the areas that are underserved. So the micro view in this aspect is just identifying them. Like it could be saying stuff like inadequate bus connections, inadequate railway connections. And then the macro view, again, in this context of like bus route planning, is thinking about these underserved areas, like thinking about like the entire route as a whole. Like these underserved areas, do they have like adequate connection to the quote unquote outside world? And because of this is the part whereby a lot of these like armchair wannabe bus planners really they don't take this into consideration, and that is where their downfall begins. They just start carelessly swapping sectors, deleting sectors or stuff like that without carefully considering like what this bus service or that bus service is supposed to do in the first place, as per what like SBS or tips SMRT intended it to do in the first place. I'm not saying that like you cannot have change, or like you cannot add a new purpose to a failing bus service. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if it's not broken, don't fix it. It's like if they already have like a purpose that cannot be done by any other bus service, you cannot just like carelessly swap them. And I'll give you some like examples of this. The first one is pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so this area, it's relatively new but not that new, and this stretch, Upper Boon King Road, is only served by 175. I mean, like a few years ago, not really a few years ago, a decade ago. And they only got like their second bus service, like one that sort of acts like a, how do you say it? It's like an inter-town. connectivity bus service because it connects like Upper Boon King, McNair, Towner, and St. George and St. Wilfred's. So it's kind of like an inter-town, but a really short one. It's a trunk service, so yeah. So this one falls under the category of like an underserved area, and this one allows them to reach the MRT like Northeast Line, Downtown Line, and then East West Line. I mean East West Line there is like 175 as well, but when it comes to like NEL, DTL, like I think Bendemeer and Boon King as well. This one is like kind of the MRT connectivity one. And in this context, this one is the bus service that brings them to the outside world. Without 175, they really don't have adequate access to outside. And in this context, outside refers to Bugis, Orchard, Great World, as well as like that small part of Jalan Bukit Merah, and I'll just put it as Depot Road, Alexandra, West Coast Highway, stuff like that. And this is something that the bus services in Tengah lack. They don't really have bus services that bring you outside well enough. Because it's like, when you're talking about that area, okay, I'm just gonna erase all of these. Let me just say Tengah. You can only rely on the buses along the main road, which is Bukit Batok Road. There is this one, and then there is this one as well. And then in future, there will be this one to Yishun. So this one would function a little bit like this one in the context of like bringing people to the outside world. And every new town, even Paya Lebar Air Base, the new HDB town that's like gonna come up in the next few decades. I don't know when, but like basically every town deserves at least one bus service that takes them like outside, like Tampines North. Their livelihood is 129. I mean, there's 18 to like Bedok, but it's mostly 129 that takes them to the outside world. There is this one to a lesser extent as well, but mostly this because it takes them to like at least it at least takes them to Bartley and Toa Payoh. I don't really count St. Mike's, but once you touch Toa Payoh, you can already access a lot of areas like Toa Payoh and Trellis Tower. You could do this and then change 985 so that you can reach like the west of Singapore, like Bukit Batok, for example. So yeah. And here's the thing, like the whole thing about like being a good route planner is that like it all comes from experience. You need to like really really study street directory and really really study the bus routes and have them at your fingertips, like really in your head memorized, so that like when uh when people ask you, hey, can I amend this bus service from here to here, you will be able to instantly, or like after a bit of deliberation, like just answer them like that. It needs to come like second nature. It needs to come naturally, and that's why this kind of thing, it really takes years to be able to like grasp it. And when I started off, I wasn't like perfect or anything. I made some like kind of questionable so-called decisions. I know it's an imaginary map, but I kind of made like a few blunders, like sending 23 to Bedok and then making people take 506 to Temasek Poly instead of like 23, because back then I completely overlooked what 23 was like supposed to do in the first place. That was like one of my mistakes like in the past, but I've learned from that. Okay, maybe I shouldn't use this color, but this is another case study. So as you know, 105's route is like that. it has already been like that ever since like the beginning of time, because historically 105 was even a thing in the first place to replace the old service 95 from Clementi to Airport Road, which means Paya Lebar Airport. There used to be a bus terminal named Jalan Angting. So 105 was like it replaced like a few sectors of like the old 95. So the whole reason why this route is even like this is because of history. And as you know, 156 on the other hand goes to 6th Avenue. But let me tell you, some people are so like, I don't understand. Like, they are just so tunneled on the fact that, like, I mean, not on the fact, I mean, they are so tunneled that on this one aspect, it's like, by hook or by crook, they just want a bus service from west to northeast that is like fast. And I mean, like, it's not like there is no bus service from west to northeast. There is, but like in the form of like 165. But like, they want it fast. And I'm just telling you, like, flat out, 502 didn't work out. And it kind of already tells you that, like, there is very, very minimal demand that, like, even wants to travel from west to northeast in the first place. And I have seen a lot of enthusiasts making this kind of mistake. They just insist on, like, services that like terminate at Woodley or like Serangoon, for example. They just want to extend it to Buangkok like by hook or by crook, and they're saying, "Oh, speed matters." But I'm like, connectivity matters in the context of Singapore, not speed. Nobody really cares like how fast or slow bus services in Singapore are, except for like a few bus services. But like, it's connectivity that matters, like for the most part. And these delusional people, they then went on to like, okay, I mean I have seen some people, they for some reason they want to sector swap all of these bus services just to keep this stupid bus service alive. I'm like, come on. It's like, and then I have people like saying, oh, 851 must become like a skip stop service because I want to keep this service alive full day. That's not the way to do it. Because honestly, the way to do it is that 132 doesn't even really have any more purpose like present day. And the areas that 132 serves, the few areas that actually have purpose, you can replace them with like a few bus services. So you don't even need to run this. You can save money. Like, not save money for the sake of saving money, but like, it's not really needed. And then this one, you can just limit its operating hours instead of like withdrawing it. You don't need to like make this you don't need to make this like skip stop, vomit out some stupid bus service just to cover the local sectors and stuff like that. The whole concept of this is that like every other local bus needs to extend the last bus timings just in order to like ensure that they connect from like this faster version of like 851. It's just gonna create like a lot more problems. Like, you aim to fix something, but then you end up making it even more broken simply because you guys don't understand what 851 is supposed to do in the first place. Like 851, it's most people who take 851 are elderly along like Henderson or like Ang Mo Kio, and they need the local bus stop connection at all costs. And it is not possible to replace the local sectors with another bus service like that stupid 130M that you guys coughed up. It's not. 851 was always meant to be a local bus service and not a skid stop one. That's the thing. And because of that, like, that was another example. This is why you guys get so deluded to the point whereby you're like, oh, 105 must ply 6th Avenue. And then 156 must ply like this slow sector. I'm like, no, you're completely misunderstanding like the whole purpose of like these bus services in the first place. I mean, look, like 105 strategically, I know the way the route was like designed is mostly because of history, but it is strategically meant to be pitched to Stevens Road. connect them to Scotts Road, and then connect them to like Delphi Orchard, which is like that area is like really really underserved. And when this bus service like gets withdrawn or something, 105 all the more it needs to stay, and then it's meant to pitch these people along. I mean, it's meant to pitch these people to Commonwealth MRT, because you know why. 7 and 106. 106 goes to Buena Vista. 7 goes all the way to like Ulu Pandan and then Clementi Avenue 5. And 105 is the only one that connects Commonwealth. It's one of the few. In fact, I think it's the only bus service that connects Commonwealth to Queensway, and then from Queensway to like this part of Holland. I mean, there's like 123 as well, but the only bus service that does this thingy and then does this thingy simultaneously is 105. And you cannot just swap it like this. Now, what you're seeing here is still the micro view. So when you go on to the macro scale of things, you need to, in a way, zoom out the map. Like 105, okay, there is this sector, Tokuan, Clementi, and then Commonwealth. Then it has this Delphi Orchard sector. And then Stevens. And then you move on to Toa Payoh. And then Lorong Chuan. As well as obviously Serangoon. So this is the macro view. Anyway, I'm just drawing it out. Let's compare that with 156. 156 starts from Clementi. Then it goes on to 6th Avenue. And then it merges with 105 here. And then it goes to MacRitchie. And then Bishan. And then from here, it goes on to Buangkok. It used to go to Sengkang, then got cut to Buangkok. Actually, to be more specific, it used to terminate, this generation of 156, it used to terminate at Serangoon, then they extended it to Sengkang, and then they cut it to Buangkok. Because 159, it already goes to Sengkang. 159 historically was Ang Mo Kio, then it extended to Sengkang. And because of that, like 156, they found it more worth it to pitch it to Buangkok instead and give Buangkok like a few new connections. Now, here's the thing. If you make 156, Troll, Stevens, Delphi Orchard, and Commonwealth, this bus service is already very long in the first place. If you make it wind like this, you're doing the service a big disfavor. It's like the bus service is already like OTA on weekends. The frequency is already not good. What you're doing is basically just making the service 10 times worse than it currently is. 156 is straighter simply because it goes long distances. 105 winds because it goes from Jurong East and only up till Serangoon. It's not Jurong East to Buangkok, it's just Jurong East to Serangoon. And that's why when SBS Transit, they designed this route, they're like, okay, it is okay for it to wind in Orchard and Stevens. Now, again, nobody is gonna care how fast or slow 105 is. They just want the doorstep connectivity that comes from 105 in the first place. And when you are at macro view, let me tell you the reason why this sector over here and this sector over here cannot be swapped. When you're at macro view, you will realize Lorong 2 Toa Payoh Central, Lorong 4 and 6 Toa Payoh. These people, they only have one bus that connects to Stevens, Delphi Orchard, and then Commonwealth in this fashion. If you swap the sectors of, like from here, if you swap the sectors of 105 and 156, you are denying access, like direct access from Toa Payoh to Stevens, Delphi Orchard, and Commonwealth. Okay, actually, I should have drawn this a little more accurately. I apologize for that. This side is not meant to like link up like this. This one's supposed to be Serangoon Avenue 3. And that's not just it. I have even more delusional people that actually try to make 105 do this. Like, so instead of from Lorong 6 Toa Payoh, instead of like exiting to Lorong Chuan like this, they say, why not let's make 105 go left instead? And why not let's make 156 go underneath Lorong Chuan so that we can finally put double deckers on 105? Now, number one, 105 was never, 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 ever meant to be pitched to Bishan. Okay, but actually, I know, like, at some point in 105's history, I think it actually went to Bishan. Correct me if I'm wrong. But there is a reason why they changed it, why they found that, like, this Bishan thingy isn't popular. And not just that, present day, you already have 88 that does this. Why do you need another bus service that does this? It makes no sense. You're just swapping for the sake of swapping in this case. And to explain in even simpler terms, 105 is meant to serve Lorong Chuan and Toa Payoh. Just because you have 73 along here that does almost the same thing doesn't mean you can just push people to service 73 and make 105 do whatever it's not supposed to do. Because remember, there is another thing. 73 goes to Lorong 4 and 6. This one goes to Toa Payoh Central and Lorong 2. It's the catchment is a little different. So by equating this to this, you're already making one major mistake. These two, even within Toa Payoh, they don't have like the exact same route. Okay. So again, 105 is meant to be pitched from this area to this general area. And when north-south line poofs out, like actually if north-south line poofs out, they would take 143 instead. But 105 is another option. Like if MRT poofs out, you want to get from like Commonwealth to Toa Payoh, you want to take bus, then yeah, 105 is... See, here's the thing. 105 is meant for you to go from Commonwealth, which is... There is like only this one bus service that takes you from here to like, this general area. Yes, there is 153, but remember, 105, again, 105 serves Commonwealth Avenue. This one serves Queensway and Farrer Road. It's different, okay? 153 serves Queensway. It's not really in close proximity of Commonwealth Avenue near Tanglin Halt. They don't have access to 153 immediately. So, and then those people, they might see something, they might appreciate something about 105 that you guys don't, basically. Because you guys are not residents taking 105, And then speaking of 153, I also realized another stupid thing. Yes, the same group of people who said like, oh, this one, okay, Queensway, who say that like, oh my god, this one goes Toa Payoh, this one goes Toa Payoh, let's swap the sectors. Okay, let me just draw it back out. Let me just draw it again. Like here, like this. And then 153 is like this. Like this, and then like this. Here's the issue. 153, in this context, it is meant as a fast service from Bukit Merah area, like Jalan Bukit Merah, Queensway, this one plus Queensway plus Farrer Road. Because here's the thing, this one straight, you can call it a corridor of, I mean, like this straight corridor. This one is supposed to be fast access from this straight corridor. To be honest, I shouldn't even say like Ferry Road. Let's say Bukit Merah and Queensway. You know, 123, like it goes to Orchard. It doesn't go to Toa Payoh. I mean, it used to go to St. Mike's, but that's not relevant to this discussion. 153, it's meant for, again, I repeat again, it's meant for these people because 132 is stupidly slow. I mean, it's not that slow, but like route-wise, it's kind of slow. They rely on 153, especially the areas. Look, 132 is pitched towards Red Hill and Henderson. 153 pitches towards Queensway and Jalan Bukit Merah. They do not have access to 132. And it makes no sense for them to go to Bukit Merah interchange just to take 132 up to Toa Payoh when, like, let's say from Jalan Bukit Merah and Queensway, they can just take this one to Toa Payoh in the first place. This one, I'm repeating for the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th time. It is meant to pitch these, it is meant to connect these areas like a fast connection to CJC and Toa Payoh. If you make this bus service go to Orchard, people from CJC are gonna complain that you just made them late for school. You know how in Singapore people have to reach school by like 7:30 a.m.? You guys are low-key unreasonable. It's like, okay, and some schools they say, oh, it's 7 a.m. start school. Or 7:10, I don't know, 7:15. Like, you guys, when you plan bus routes, you're just like, oh my god, I want the west to northeast link at all costs. I don't care if I'm screwing over the passengers of 153. I want this link no matter what. I want fast, fast, fast. I am Sonic the Hedgehog. Gonna go fast. And this is where the problem lies. Just like how I briefly brought up 123, you already have a bus service from Bukit Merah and Queensway towards like this Delphi Orchard area. You send 153 here, you're gonna duplicate 123 and just kill the purpose of 123 in the first place. Oh, okay. And to make matters worse, you put 153 over here. This area, as I've mentioned, 10 goes to Buona, 106 goes to Buona Vista, this one goes to Clementi. You do this with 153, let me tell you, it's even worse than 156. You're cutting off access from Delphi Orchard and then this area of like Napier and Holland Road to Commonwealth. You see, it's like you're making things like 10 times worse than it currently is. You have to see macro view a little bit. You can't just like swap sectors because like, oh, I want 105 to be faster. Next case study, 74. Okay, this one, again, the reason why 74, okay, it used to start from Clementi, but then it absorbed like, I think another two of like the Buona Vista feeder services. And then nowadays it becomes like, the route becomes like this, like this, up. And then it wraps one round. Okay, I should show Danyeon and Bukit Timah. And then I used to go via Lornie Road, but then there's Lornie Highway now. Okay, and then there is Marymount. Then Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3. Okay, it's not to scale, but you kind of get the idea. When you look at this route, okay, I'm gonna draw in MRT as well. I'm gonna draw in this. I'm going to draw in this one as well, like over here. I'm going to draw a circle line as well. Where's Buona Vista? Okay, so it's here and then Holland Village. Then it's like this. Okay. And then it's like this and then it goes to Bishan. It doesn't really touch anymore. No, 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 no. Okay, I'm gonna make this a little bit more accurate, like this. And then let's draw in cross island line. This is King Albert Park. This is Clementi. This is Maju. If I'm not wrong. Then where is Ang Mo Kio? Yeah, like this, like this, like this, and then oh, never mind. Like this, then like this around. Okay, my yellow is off. I'm sure. Oh my god. Bear with me. Sorry. Okay, like something along these lines. Okay. Now it's more accurate. Now, I don't really count this part because there is already like 166 and stuff like that. Okay, so the one thing that you would notice is 74 is literally the only bus that connects from here to here. It does something that MRT doesn't do. And then obviously like from here to here as well, which is something that MRT doesn't like. MRT doesn't serve like this area. Okay, again, I wouldn't really count this again because it's like quite minuscule, but look at these areas. I want you to focus on these. These two areas are going to be what prevents 74 from being rationalized when this new MRT line opens. Because if, let's say, your school is along here, like let's say Hwa Chong Institution, Nanyang Junior College, or something like I don't remember all the schools along here, but like, look, geographically, do you think it makes sense for people from Marymount to be like, take bus to Teggi? It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Doesn't make sense, right? You want to be going along this general direction, not like this. I mean, I kind of exaggerated it, but you get what I mean. It's just a waste of time transferring like this when you can have a straight bus service like this. That's the reason why 174, especially after 852 is gone, is going to stay. Because in this context, Marymount has limited access to the outside world in this case, and the outside world refers to MacRitchie is one thing. This whole stretch of like Danyeon and Bukit Timah is one thing, and Clementi Road is another thing. I mean, this is where SUSS, SIM, NP, they are located here. So yeah, you can see that like, and even this connection that is not possible via MRT. This is the reason why 74 is gonna stay. And then you see, Hougang Avenue 8, this area doesn't really have like a whole lot of bus connections, and it doesn't have immediate MRT access. You remember that case study that I said that about like Bukit Panjang, the areas that are near DTL, and then like okay, like this is like BPA LRT, yeah, like this. I've talked about like how people who are near DTL in the first place, only these people benefit from DTL because it's like DTL is like sardine all the way up to Bukit Panjang station. So, and if you want a seat, you have to board at Bukit Panjang, and you might even have to wait like for the next train or the second next train, I don't know, to even get a seat during peak hours. And only people who live in close proximity to Bukit Panjang MRT downtown line would benefit. And all these areas inside that have no immediate DTL access, or even Bukit Panjang Road, or even 972M, 972M, 190, 972. I mean 972 should be like this, and then like this instead. Look, like these areas who do not have immediate access to the MRT, they take bus and bus only. They do not take the MRT. They are their commute involves using bus and bus only. I mean, maybe they would change to MRT like near the CBD, but like their commute involves going to, at the very, very least, Newton MRT or Stevens. I have seen people from Newton and Stevens, they just straight up board 972M from there to get to their destinations. They don't board 973. They board 972M at Stevens and Newton. This is because geographically it makes more sense for them to board 972M from these areas than, I don't know, boarding 973 at like, I don't know, Hume or Hillview. They prefer 972M. And that's why 972M, 972 and 190, they are here to stay. Maybe 190's frequency might drop a little bit in the future, but it's not like these services are going to withdraw. They are here to stay because they serve areas that do not, and I repeat, do not have immediate MRT access. And you know Bukit Panjang LRT, the access penalty from LRT to this area, and LRT can be crowded as well. The access penalty is like from above ground, like level 2 or 3, I think it's level 3, all the way down to basement 1 and then 2 is quite stupid. Nobody wants to do that unless their homes are like located right outside of BP LRT. Then yeah, they might be more willing to do that. But if their areas are served by bus, Senja, Segar, Jelapang, Fajar, I would even count Fajar, if their areas do not have like good MRT or LRT access, they will take bus to the city no matter what. Okay, and then this is just one example. The same thing would apply to Hougang Avenue 8. They don't have a lot of buses in the first place. They do not have adequate MRT access. And then 147 from Hougang Avenue 8, it is pitched to Yio Chu Kang Road as well as Upper Serangoon Road. Why is 147 like that? Because of history, it got integrated with 83. It used to terminate at Potong Pasir. So here's the thing. Hougang Avenue 8, these people, they need access to Ang Mo Kio. They need access to Marymount. They even need access to the school area in general. This is why I wouldn't even be surprised if 74's like demand patterns, maybe they might change with Cross Island Line, like especially if you're traveling like longer distances, like beyond wherever 74 serves. I wouldn't even be surprised if 74's demand actually increases because of CRL and not decreases. Maybe like, okay, long distance, medium distance, short distance, maybe there might be fluctuations. It's bound to change anyway. But that doesn't necessarily mean, oh my god, there is CRL, 74 is going to be withdrawn. That doesn't work like that. You people said the same thing about 855, but look at 855. This thing's demand literally increased because of TEL. They found that they could take 855 to intercept TEL, and that's why the demand increased. And even then, there is still long distance demand from Yishun, even all the way to like Farrer Road, Queensway, Jalan Bukit Merah, Lower Delta Road, Harbourfront. There is still long distance demand to sustain 855. And the same thing goes for like Service 5. Nobody like really boards at like Newton MRT anymore. From Great World, they take TEL to Great World and then they already change 5. So you can say that like even though nobody really boards at Service 5 from Newton when they want to go towards like the east side of Singapore, you can say that this one, people are starting to be the commuters are starting to become, like in general, like majority wise, are starting to become more long distance because from Great World they are MRT, they already have access to Service 5, so they no longer need to go all the way up to Newton for Service 5. This one, people are starting to take Service 5 a lot longer distance. That's the reason why 5 is going to stay. 5 is the only link that lets you bypass DTL from Newton area to Kaki Bukit, because nobody wants to take stupid DTL through that loop, you know. But here's the thing, I'm not saying you must board from Newton. When I say bypass, I'm even referring to the areas eastward, like beyond Kaki Bukit, and the areas before Newton, like Jalan Bukit Merah, Lower Delta, Tiong Bahru Road, Zion Road, Hoot Kiam, Patterson, Scotts. You get what I mean. It's a bypass. It's an MRT. Service 5 is an MRT bypass. Demand patterns are going to change, but that doesn't mean that the services are going to withdraw. And 74 is one example of this. In this case, it's because Hougang Avenue 8 does not have adequate MRT access. CRL doesn't go there, and it's in between Hougang and Buangkok MRT, and they do not have immediate access to MRT as well. And that's all for 74, but I have to bring up another point. You see 74, it goes like this, and then there used to be a 74A, which is like from Hougang via Avenue 4 and then Avenue 8. Yes, 4, 8, and then uh, Hougang Avenue 2, Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3. And then it stops outside Ang Mo Kio MRT. And SBS Transit historically found this one really useful. So 165 used to terminate at Ang Mo Kio. This one used to go to Jurong Interchange, by the way. Not Jurong East, but Jurong, if I'm not mistaken. They literally extended 165 from Ang Mo Kio to Hougang to eat up this bus service, basically. I do not remember if this was peak hour only, but what. But you see, 165 after CRL, I think it's probably going to be at most OTA and then massive downsize of fleet. I don't think this one is actually gonna be route cut in any way because of this portion. Hougang Avenue 4 and then this part of Avenue 8. 74 takes the slightly more winding route and 165 takes Avenue 4. Avenue 4 also does not have immediate MRT, especially like the part of Avenue 4 that is like near Avenue 8. You do not have access to like CRL immediately. Because CRL at Serangoon North Station, it's like kind of like outside. It's not like inside. I mean, if anything, if there is a direct bus service that stops outside their house, they would take this one. And they would really only take MRT if like they're in a rush. Or if they're going towards NSL. If they're going to Ang Mo Kio, like let's say Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3 or 1, it makes zero sense to take CRL, especially when the intermediate stops who don't have adequate access to Cross Island Line in the first place, I mean, they would prefer bus over MRT in this case. This is just micro view. Again, what I've talked about. Zoom 165 out. 165, again, Ulu Pandan and Ferrer. 48 only starts at Holland Village. This part of Ulu Pandan only has this one service, 165 to reach Ferrer Road. This bus service is literally a pitch, like a hub spoke towards Cross Island Line. And then, okay, this one goes Ferrer Road, but technically any bus service can, like let's say 855 can be pulled inside to cover Ferrer, to cover Adam. Oh my god, no. Instead of going Lornie Highway, this thing goes Lornie Road, and stuff like 855 could be pitched towards Lornie Road instead of Lornie Highway if let's say you don't want 165 to go inside or whatever. You know, instead of 165, you could technically swap 855 and 165, and I think the effect will be minimal anyway because 855 and 165 they serve like pretty much the same areas up till the Holland Road junction anyway. So swapping these two in this case, it wouldn't really hurt, to be honest. So if you want to make this one faster, you can technically swap it in this case. Okay, maybe my macro view is like I drew it a little bit too big. Okay, whatever, I'm gonna erase this again. Okay, Clementi, Ulu Pandan, Farrer Road. And then Lornie McRitchie, like this, then like this, and then like this. Yeah, you get the idea. So I've already talked about why like 165, because it serves areas that aren't necessarily well connected. I'm just drawing roughly that aren't really well connected to CRL in the first place, and this one is CCL and not even CRL. There is actually a reason for 165 to stay. It's not really, oh, Hougang, like Clementi, Hougang, just take Cross Island Line. No, that's not how it works. 165 is meant for all the intermediate sectors that don't have MRT. You get what I mean? And if anything, the one that is destined to be withdrawn is this one because Hougang Central, Upper Serangoon Road, Hougang Avenue 2, okay, 325 goes Avenue 10. This area is already covered by 325. So, and then like this one is the one that has the most duplication between Teck Gee, if I pronounced it properly, to Hougang. This one is the one that has the most duplication with this one plus this one in the first place. So all the more, this one is the most prone to like a route cut in the first place. 74 already has Hougang Avenue 8, which is underserved. And then 165 has Avenue 4, which is again, no MRT goes inside to Avenue 4, especially the intersection between Avenue 8 and 4. Like near there is no MRT. That's the reason why 165 can still stay. This one, however, look, outside there is this and then there is this. When you have this one, this one, this one, and this one, there is no justification for 132 to stay in the first place. Not just that, like, I go macro view for 132 again. Let's ignore Hougang. Let's say Upper Thompson. This one actually begins to duplicate this. Like, from here to like Mount Pleasant, I'm just listing it out. There is this, and there is this, well, which is now permanent, by the way. At most, they're gonna degrade the frequencies again, or like limit the operating hours. But this bus service is not going anywhere. So, again, duplication. The only area that 132 like has a true unique sector is Bukit Merah Central, Henderson, Tiong Bahru Road, Tanglin. How do you pronounce it? Is it Tanglin or Tanglin? Whatever. But and then up to CJC. I will say up to CJC because from CJC to Thompson Road there is like 156 already. Yeah, and they might, if anything, they might just push people to 156. So up till here. If anything, if you're suggesting to like a route truncate this route to even Bishan, let's say you send it via Bishan Street 21, this one would work. Or if you're sending it to via if you're truncating 132 to Caldecott, that makes sense because like right now this thing parks there. So yeah. Or if not, you wanna if you want like a new if you want an existing bus service to okay, cause from here to here there's already 105, like 105. Then if you want an existing bus service to cover like this sector to like let's say Orchard. Let's say you want to do something crazy like, okay, I'm going to introduce 36M so that people can still cross between Orchard Boulevard and Orchard Road. And then I'm going to extend 36 to Bukit Merah. Okay, that makes sense. And even though I don't really agree with this, even if you want to amend 16 instead of via Zion Road, if you want to amend this one to cover up, like to eat up 132, I'm like, even though I don't necessarily agree, I'm like, okay, in this case, it's still fine because like you still have other bus services like 105, 156, everything to cover 132's route. It's fine. I don't really mind. This service, like, it's better not to run it. And that's how you do rationalization anyway. And the reason why 36M like conceptually would work is that Right now, this sector, oh my goodness, it's already running at 20 minutes frequency. You want to do the 36 M suggestion? I'm like, go ahead. It doesn't really matter. This one is kind of interesting. Okay, but before I talk about this one, 88, I'm going to talk about 89. 89 is Haokang, winds inside to Sengkang, comes out again. Okay, why am I drawing on this side? Like this. Okay, like this. Sengkang. And then it goes to I gotta have to squeeze a little bit of space here. Okay. Many people are saying that like,
Oh, you know, this one is a duplication of Cross Island Line from Hougang to Pasir Ris and then to the Loyang so that this bus service will be withdrawn in due time.
okay, I'm gonna say, inside of this area, there is no MRT. Nobody is going to Hubspoke via Aviation Park just to take a stupid bus in. If anything, if 89E stops at your doorstep, they're gonna take 89E, you idiots. Again, Hougang may have Cross Island Line. I'm not even suggesting this one chopping to. If you say this one chop to Buangkok, yes, I can kind of understand. But like again, Sengkang to Hougang, the intermediate sectors, there isn't really a whole lot of connection. There is like 87, 89, and 80, and that's pretty much it. So it doesn't really benefit you in any way if you chop 89 to Buangkok. I would rather it still go to Hougang in any case. This area might have Cross Island Line to this area and to this area and then probably to this area and this area as well. Okay, let me just highlight stuff for you. Oops. Okay, sorry. There's Pasir Ris East, so I forgot that station exists. Number one, look. Drive 3. This area is underserved. Not all of Drive 1 has MRT. There is a mosque here. People take 89 to access the mosque from Pasir Ris West. This area is underserved, and like I've said, there is not every single bus stop is served by MRT, especially along Pasir Ris Drive 1. Changi Village has no MRT. I used to think there was, but like they're gonna build one station, but turns out it's like Loyang only. Changi Village has no MRT. Sengkang has no Cross Island Line. Sengkang has no Cross Island Line. Sengkang has no Cross Island Line. And if they have either this bus service or this bus service at their doorstep, they are going to take this all the way to Changi Airport Cargo Complex. Do you get it? Simply put, this is why 89 won't ever be affected by Cross Island Line regionalization. At most weekends, they'll just downsize to a full single decker fleet. I mean, at most. So yeah. Let me show you the macro view of 88. I can memorize. Anyway, I've been memorizing the bus routes ever since I was 5 years old. I don't remember like every single bus route, but at least like 95% I can tell you the route without even referring to anything. So again, it takes years. So Lorong 646 Brado Bishan. I did not ask you to, oh my god, to convert into a straight line. Brado, Bishan, Street 22, small part of Marymount, Ang Mo Kio Avenue 6, 3, 10, 5, Buangkok Green, Hougang Avenue 4, 8, Punggol Road, TPE, Pasir Ris Drive 3. Not to scale, but this is 88's route. Okay, maybe if you want me to draw it a bit more to scale, fine. I will lower this section so that it looks nicer. So that is 88's route in a nutshell. I'm gonna tell you that I'm not saying like I am okay with this. I'm just saying that theoretically, on paper, you could get rid of this bus route entirely. This is how you could. I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying you could. You extend 50 to Topayo. So 50, it would cover this entire area. You have service 13 that goes to, I mean, it goes to Yochukang, right? So it it would cover this area like comfortably. And then from this area, Street 22, Avenue 8, Avenue 3, and 6, you have 162. Anyway, I should state that this one is like let's say you would propose an extension from 50 instead of terminating at Bishan because it already serves outside the MRT. You extend 50 to Topayo instead. So yeah, this is an extension. Like not in real life, but like it's just like conceptually. Okay, so and then you would have let me see. Okay, Avenue 1 is here. Actually, I could draw this out. This is 159. So you see that like 50. Why is it interfering with this one? Say okay, fine. Again, I'm sorry, it's not to scale, but the main point is the main point is this. You see this sector. Uh, anyway, I'm doing this in real time, so you can know that like this video is unscripted. You see this sector, Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3, 10, 5. You keep 50 along the red route along this sector. What you do is you amend. I know this one is going to be controversial, but I am just saying conceptually how to do it. The benefit that you would get from doing this, again, you have to learn how to explain it, is that you feed 159 nearer to the cross island line exits, and you also feed it nearer to the north-south line exit as well. Because right now, you board like 50 and 159 at Ang Mo Kio Avenue 8 if you're coming from north-south line. But if you want to feed it to like north-south line and cross island line in the first place, you should pitch this one to Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3. So basically, 159 is going to look like this one and this one, except that it goes outside the MRT and not into Ang Mo Kio interchange. So yeah. Anyway, historically, 159, oops, I should explain. Yeah, you see the purple line? That is 133 and 139. 133 and 136. So, these two go like this. And then 159 is going to do a similar like wraparound thing, but the roads are different. So anyway, it's to pitch towards Cross Island Line Ang Mo Kio as well, to in a way boost 159's demand. And then 159 obviously it does this like thing, like this. And then 50 it goes to Yochukang Road. And then from Yochukang Terminal, okay, obviously it's not that big, but like, okay, Yochukang Terminal. I'm gonna use another color. Okay, I'll use pink. From Yochukang Terminal, no, I should say from ITECC, IT College Central, you're gonna have 72 that does like this. So it's adequately covered. The only area that isn't really covered that you would sandbag is probably this small part of like Buangkok Green. The fact that you can cover 88's route like this already tells you something. Now, for this part. Again, this is concept. I'm not saying you should do this. 87, you know 80 and 89 already bring you from Hougang to Sengkang, and then this one brings you inside the interchange. Because currently, 80 does this thing where, okay, I should draw it like this. Yeah, that's 72. 80 already does this thing whereby like this, and then it goes to Compassville Drive to Sengkang. That's 80. Anyway, sorry about the scale of this map. I'm just doing it through memory. I'm not referring to anything. And then you have obviously 89 that it goes like this instead. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Then you have okay, I should use green again. Okay. So 87, the current route is Hougang Avenue 3, Tampines Road, Avenue 7, 5, and then inside like this. It actually follows 89 into the interchange. So it's kind of meaningless. The only downside is that like if people actually take 87 into Sengkang interchange, like along these sectors. That's the one downside. If people from like Hougang Avenue 3, Tampines Road, Hougang Avenue 7, 5, if they take a bus to Sengkang interchange, that is the one group of people that would get affected by whatever I'm going to suggest. So you see, 80, 87, and 89, they really have a lot of overlaps. So I am going to erase this part. This part. Oops. This part. I'm going to make 87 Hougang Central, Avenue 4, Avenue 8, up to Pongo. It's not necessary to send this to Pasir Ris. Like either Coast or Pongo Central that interchange. So I have covered pretty much the entirety of 88's route. Now let's look. I know I took a long time for this, but I just want you guys to see all the nuances. If you get rid of the entire route of 88, theoretically, hypothetically, you're left with these two areas. Buangkok Green, Pasir Ris West. Let's use another slide. Because I'm doing macro and micro at the same time, the areas that are going to be affected by the loss of 88 are Buangkok Green, between Yio Chu Kang Road and Hougang Avenue 4. And the other area that will be affected, like as I've said before, is Pasir Ris West. Now this one, it is not really a concern because you can just tell people to take bus and transfer at drive 12, near TPE to like 58. Because, this area has like 58 and 359 for like the entire sector. And if 359 until like the drive 1 junction, and there is already 58 that already takes you to drive 3. So this one is like uh it's not really like a big deal if they lose 88, but it's also a big deal at the same time, and I'll explain why. This one is the one whereby this is the group of people that you have to compromise if you were to get rid of 88 completely. Because 109 from Pasir Ris, it goes Avenue 4 and Hougang Avenue 4 and 9. It doesn't even touch this like part of Buangkok Green. That part of Buangkok Green is served by this, and then 104, which is 43M in the future. So unfortunately, if you get rid of 88, you would be doing a disservice to the people living along here. Because 72 doesn't go to Buangkok Green. It goes to Yio Chu Kang Road, Hougang Avenue 9 and 4. This is the one that you would this is the group of people that would be affected by the loss of 88 in general. Now for this one, going back to the concept that I talked about before, let's bring up Pasir Ris West. This part of Pasir Ris, you still need buses there. You have a lot of buses here, like 39, 81, 53, 109, 39, 81, 53, 109, 89, so on and so forth. Oh, there's 3 that goes inside here as well. But that is Avenue 1. Drive 3 is a different catchment. Because if you get rid of 88, the only bus service that they have to the outside world is 58. And yeah, sure, you can pitch Cross Island Line East to Punggol, haha, but you have to realize 88 does not go Punggol. That's the thing. 58 brings you to the outside world, yes, but you're gonna deprive them of a bus that goes to Sengkang and Hougang and make it super inconvenient for them. Cause like I said, unless you're willing to make 87 go to Pasir Ris, in which the resultant route would be like, instead of going to Sengkang, it would be like this instead. Unless you're willing to make bus 87 do this kind of like wraparound thing, which I think it's not that bad, but like there is a traffic jam at TPE, it might not be advisable to do that. Because of that, you're gonna make it super inconvenient for people living along this side of Pasir Ris. Ever since like the late 1990s, they already have 88 towards I'm gonna say Sengkang and Hougang area in general. I would say the entire town. You're depriving them of a much needed access to Sengkang and Hougang in general. That is one of the real life concerns why withdrawing 88, especially along the sector that so-called duplicate CRL, it's not really gonna help. Because if any case, if you were to cut 88, the only sane solution would be to just push it to Yio Chu Kang interchange instead. Cause Ang Mo Kio, unless you want to push it to Ang Mo Kio, and cause you don't want to do the 159 amendment. Cause 159, if you push it to Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3, 10, 5, you need bendy buses, no matter what. Because there is no way a double decker is, even if Lorong Chuan was DD accessible, there is no way a double decker is gonna be able to handle this kind of like board alike, board alike, board alike, board alike demand. And that's the reason why 159 needs bendy buses. In the same fashion as what SMRT is doing to 180 currently. Split shift only and weekdays. I know sometimes bendies do run on 180 on weekends, like kind of as a bonus, but like you just take it that 159 only really needs high capacity like bendy buses during weekdays, AM and PM shift, PM peak. And any other time it can be run with just single deckers. So it is kind of like 180, even though 180 doesn't have as much like bendy bus priority as compared to like something like 184. I'm just gonna say conceptually, it's gonna be something like how 180 deploys its bendy buses currently. Yeah, if you push like 88 to Yio Chu Kang, you would need 159 to get bendy buses and to amend 159 to Ang Mo Kio Avenue 310-5. Like if you push it to Yio Chu Kang, if you push it to Ang Mo Kio, like you have the space, then you don't need to do this thing with like 159 in the first place. So it doesn't even really need to amend its route. It can just stay along Avenue 5 and 8, which might be faster anyway. Even though it doesn't have like good access to CRL Ang Mo Kio. But yeah. But again, like I said, it's ironic that like the part that actually duplicates CRL is going to stay simply because 88 doesn't actually duplicate CRL like a whole lot. It's more of like bus duplication and a little bit of bus MRT duplication. It's kind of weird, but this is the kind of stuff that actually causes buses to be rationalized. Not really in the case of like this thing, because the intermediate stops and the access penalty is the reason why. I mean, at Little India Fair Park and then the whole of East West Line is the reason why 67 needs to stay in the first place. This is why, ironically, the amount of like bus duplication as opposed to like bus MRT duplication is going to be the downfall of 89. So ironically, the part where it actually so-called copies CRL is actually going to stay. And that's not just it. That's just Pasir Ris West. You have to remember there is this one other area, like I talked about, that Japanese phrase called Anaba, which means like underserved area if I translate really loosely. Not directly translate, it's like place where there is a hole. Not really hole, but it literally means hole, but it means like empty place in a sense. Not enough like connections. The reason why Punggol Road is an empty place, so-called empty place, is because you only have these two plying the entire Punggol Road. I mean, like up till TPE, of course. And not just that, this one only covers a little bit of Punggol Road. This one only covers like up till Sengkang East Way. You take away this one, you are depriving these people from access to the outside world. Pasir Ris, you can even say Hougang Avenue 8 and 4 because 82 does not go there. IT College Central, if they happen to live along Punggol Road, if you withdraw this, you're kind of screwed actually. Because like, I don't think it's realistic to expect to like pitch 159 to them. Oh, you take a bus to Sengkang Interchange and you transfer to 159 and let's just make a 159X to IT Central, haha. I don't think that's gonna work. Unless you're really brave, you wanna do this, or even you wanna cough up like I don't know this one. Unless you're like brave enough to do that kind of solution, you make it like kind of express to the people who actually still need these bus services. I don't think it's gonna work because 88 is local. 88 isn't like express, skip stop or anything. Cause I mean, yeah, you're gonna deprive them to like not really Ang Mo Kio because Ang Mo Kio has already 74, but you're gonna deprive Punggol Road to this, and this. Yeah, I'm saying Pasir Ris in general because Punggol Road does not have that middle section of Punggol Road in the middle of Sengkang, not the areas that are served by 89. There's no 89. There's no 27. These are along Compassville Road and not Punggol Road. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna deprive people from the outside world connections. And that's not all. 88 is the only bus service that, let's say up to ITECC. Let's not even talk about Punggol Road. 88 is the only bus service that has this route pattern. Cause 161 goes there. Yeah. 161 goes Avenue 6. Yes, you can argue that there is 61 here, but as I've said like a few slides ago, where is it? You're doing people along this area a disservice because this area only has 43104 and this one. It's just like okay, and 325 is a feeder, so I'm not gonna count that to the outside world. So yeah. Yes, you can cover this area with 161, but this small area and then this area with all the industrial estates, you're gonna do a disservice to them because, like I've said, '72. Yes, you can make people along this area walk to take 72 because the proximity is like quite close between like the bus stops here. Or is it like the bus stops here? I cannot remember. But like people living along this area, people living along Pongo Road as well, you're gonna be cutting off all the direct access to like the industrial estate at Ang Mo Kio Avenue 5. Cause remember, this is micro view technically, but 88 does this, 72 does this. The catchment is slightly different. That is something that you cannot deny. The catchment along Hougang Avenue 9 and the catchment along Buangkok Green is different. When 72 absorb 80, they retain the sector. And 88, all along since the late 1990s, has already done this sector. It has been like their bread and butter route ever since like the late 1990s. So if you're gonna withdraw 88, I'm saying on paper you can do it, but like you're gonna piss off a lot of people from Punggol Road, gonna piss off a lot of people from Hougang Avenue 8 as well, all of them who need access to the industrial estate and IT College Central. And that's the reason why I still think if there were to ever be like some form of rationalization, it would at most be this, and I don't know, maybe 159 covering and 50 being extended to Toa Payoh to cover the loss of 88. That's all that I think. I mean there's like 162 from Street 22 to Ang Mo Kio Avenue 3 as well, but you just take the bus from the different side. So yeah, it's a kind of dirty move to like inflate 162's demand, but like again, ironically, the part that like duplicates the MRT, so-called duplicates the MRT is gonna stay simply because of what I explained over here. Industrial estate, a major school, yeah. And in any way, you should be thankful that 88 doesn't really go all the way to like Nanyang Poly. Is it Nanyang? Nanyang Polytechnic? Nanyang Polytechnic, right? Yeah. So if 88 actually goes to Nanyang Polytechnic, the demand would like quadruple. And that's the reason why you should be thankful that they actually have a 72 specifically for like Nanyang Poly instead of like making this one and then this one both serve Nanyang Poly. If not, 88 would the runtime would like be a lot worse. Cause you know Nanyang Poly they even need like 72B. I mean Nanyang Poly and like ITCC they need this bus service. Like especially during rainy days or something. They need these bus services. So like what I've said, you go macro view, you would realize that these are the limitations as to why Bangkok Green, Pasir Ris West, and Punggol Road as well. These are the limitations as to why 88. It's like justification for it to like stay. Even after CRL stage one, if I'm not mistaken, CRL stage one becomes a thing. And I've also explained that comparatively, why 89E has an edge over CRL. It takes you actually inside Changi Airport Cargo Complex. It's not like 89E runs like during weekends or what. No, it only runs during weekday peak hours. And I've also said about this one being a link from Drive 1 to Drive 3, the mosque over here, and then yeah, both of them gets connected to Pasir Ris Central. Oh yeah, the hawker center as well. It's very convenient if you love that hawker center. I love it. As much as like my taste buds are more accustomed to like Korean and Japanese food, I like the Singapore the so-called Singapore food because you know like a lot of Singapore food is actually from overseas and then they just happen to be taken to this country even though there's like some food that is actually Singaporean, like chili crab, roti john, and then some of the I don't know the mee something dishes. But anyway, I find that like the Singapore the so-called local food, whether it's truly local or not, like or imported, is actually nice. So yeah, you know what whatever I've just said, the hawker center it has demand, and that's why 89E actually gets quite a bit of demand from that bus stop. It's not just a hawker center, but people living along the HDBs nearby as well. This is a reason why these bus stops they can never be replaced with CRL. CRL is like somewhere near to like you know that new mall. This area is quite far away from CRL with the hawker center and the HDBs. That's the reason why 89 is still gonna stay, cause it functions as like kind of a feeder bus service, even though it's a trunk. I mean, within Pasir Ris. Not really feeder, but like intra-town link from this area to this area. Cause from this area to this area, you have 358 and 359. Like this, you have feeder. This you have 89. That's the reason why 89E is unlike 88. It's not ever gonna go anywhere. It's not even gonna be affected by cross island line, except maybe we can, like I mentioned before, downsize. So to end off this lesson, this is kind of like my pet peeve when it comes to like, you know, like you guys trying to plan routes and then end up planning without purpose or like really understanding the dynamics. I know it takes a lot of experience and it takes a lot of time to be able to like get it, but you need to think macro and micro. And I don't mean it as like, oh, everything you have to look at the big picture because if not, you're not being paper general enough. No, I'm just saying like macro view in this context, it's not like a book smart term or what. I'm just saying macro view is a term to describe whether a underserved area has connections to the outside world or not. And then the micro area is just being very detailed, identifying where exactly these micro areas are along the route per se. You can have a big route, but then there are some areas, key areas that you have to serve no matter what. So I hope you guys like actually get it before trying to like swap sectors of bus routes for no reason, okay?